Well, it looks like we've done it again. All right, this time I started in the dumpster fire. To be fair, the first time I did a Reddit response, the dumpster fire was hurled my way. In a way, someone pointed it out. I noticed the thing, and then I found like someone talking about me and people talking trash about my channel, which is fine. You're allowed to. I don't take myself that seriously. But oh boy, dude, this post. Oh my god, this post created such a dumpster fire. And honestly, I started like arguing with people, so I kind of added fuel to the fire for sure. So I definitely did not help. But the idea was very simple. I was very tired this morning, and I was like, Amber uses a lance, and Amber lamps, which is like a meme, is pretty similar to Amber Lance. So then I'm like, all right, I need an Amber Lance. So I made this. And I'm like, well, why would this exist? Why would we need an Amber Lance? And then I was thinking about it, and I'd added Veilbot to my Discord, and I was just messing around, just checking stats, because like everyone is always like, oh my god, dude, Citrine's magic is just so high. And I'm like, how high is it really though? Let's find out on Mythbusters. So I Mythbusted her magic stat. It turns out Anna at the same level 30, is basically the same magic. Citrine has +1 magic at the cost of 5 dex and speed, which is substantial. She has +3 more magic at level 10 Sage versus Anna's 10 Sage, +2 more magic at level 20 Sage, and she basically just maintains like a slight magical advantage at the cost of speed and dex and some health and 1 luck. So 2 stats that kind of really matter, like dex, hit rate matters, speed seriously matters. But all right, this was the post. This was it. This is all that was made. All right, so that being said, let's see what kind of pushback. First of all, I will say this: most people who saw this did upvote it. 84% of people. That's good, because this is a solid meme for a variety of reasons. 1, it's a dumb Amber Lance joke. 2, I'm poking fun at Citrine's supposed high magic stat that people really blow out of proportion, and compared to like the best mages in the game, like against like Ivy and Pandreo, she does have like +5 magic on them, like on the similar class. But they have like bulk, they have build, they have speed, they have durability, they have like more things than she has. And also they're like easier to use. Like they don't get one shot, which is something that happens to her. All right, so, and I got downvoted a lot too. And you know what? Fine, whatever. If they want to downvote me, they're allowed to. Okay, then this guy's based. I did start downvoting them. Here, I'll act in good faith. I'll undownvote them. I'll try to set the better example, because I did downvote a few of them, I think. All right, let's go through some of these that are kind of funny. Simple man. See, this is funny too. Citrine is cooler. She would be if she made you money. Here, you know what, upvote for that. Using a run, prefers Citrine. Okay. Stuff like this. Promotes, can kill immediately. Like, what can she kill? She can kill like the armors in chapter 8. Snowballs. I never found her to snowball. I've used her in a bunch of different runs on Sage, on Mage Knight. I haven't tried her on Griffin Knight. I'm actually kind of curious how she would do on that. But on Mage Knight, she ended up being really slow, even with like speed +5 and Lin. Like, she was unbelievably slow to the point where it was like being a problem often, especially like in endgame maps. And she just like naturally kind of fell off in endgame. I feel like that's one of the things that just kind of naturally happens with her if she's going for a doubling build. So like long term, her speed is an issue that needs resolved. And this idea that because Anna has like a harder upstart, that she's just worse. Like this, like all this other stuff, this is like wish fulfillment or something, or this is like the stats are not wrong here. Like this is literally what, like Anna is just faster, right? So how do you take something that's faster with similar magic and they can't reliably kill without setup, but she can just kill everything immediately and she's just amazing? Like this is just being disingenuous, honestly. But people agree with it, and on Reddit, the mob rules, you could be right and in the minority and just get downvoted, or you could be wrong and in the majority and get upvoted, and that's very common on Reddit. So it's whatever. But Also, I have noticed that this particular Reddit hates Anna and loves Citrine. So this post is probably probably like kicking a beehive, so that's my bad. I'm not apologizing for the post, but I am apologizing for kicking a beehive. Dude, the Amber Lance is too good. Ignore this. This is the key here. Use this in everything. That is the amazing. That is like the silver lining to this whole situation. Some people just talking about training Anna. Really, what you do is you just great sack on her. Now, if you LTC, you can't do this basically. But if you just play at an average pace, and I did a poll on my channel, 1,400 people responded. 95% of them do not LTC and take 8+ turns. Most people play like way slower than people discuss on the subreddit. Even some people who are talking about efficiency in LTC, the one guy was like, oh, I don't LTC, but he was like talking about it. So like that's like a very common thing on this subreddit, is like just talking about LTC and kind of evaluating units in this kind of like old school mentality where you have like so much time with like units, and availability really matters, and growths and bases are more important. There's not like engage rings and stuff like this to like offset things. I linked this. See, this I thought would be like a smoking gun of sorts, where it's just like 16 turns, one chapter, chapter 7, and it goes from level 5 to level 10. It's 16 turns. It's not like a 100-turn grind. Like we've seen, people have watched Excel Emblem do like 4-hour grinds, but then if I post a 16-turn grind, it gets like heavily scrutinized. I'm sorry, I cannot take sandbagging an entire map just to level up Anna promotion as a great argument. Then this version here, I'll undislike this, even though they're all downvote bombing me. This version of this is doing it in one chapter. If you do it in 2 chapters, it's like 7 to 8 turns a chapter. You great sack once or twice each map. You play normally, and she just heals, and it doesn't slow you down at all. But apparently this is bad to them because I'm sandbagging an entire map. Okay. I get leveling bad base units is easy with Micaiah, but there's a limit to what I'm willing to do. You'll argue with me on Reddit, but you won't level up Anna on Micaiah. I hate it when people take 2 turning maps as standard for unit evaluation, but purposefully going ultra slow so Anna can level. I got 2 great sacks too. And then I said this, which I don't know why stuff like this gets downvoted. It's like, all right, play it normally, have her heal bot, level her with an engraved axe, get her bond 10 Marth and Lodestar 2 to 3 times a map, or any of the other 100 ways you can level a unit at a time. Like, it's so weird how like on Reddit, like they can be snippy with you, they can be passive aggressive with you. If they perceive you as passive aggressive, or even if they just don't like what you say or your arguments, they'll just downvote you. And that's like a thing that's like, it's not just this Reddit, it's every Reddit. If you don't agree with the mob will try to silence you. Not out of like some malicious intent, but just because they just don't like what you have to say and they just want to get rid of it, which is a really stupid thing, honestly. I don't like the upvoting system because it doesn't matter who's correct. It just matters who wins over the public appeal or whatever. Like whoever's, okay, you're giving up better immediate performance for dubiously useful extra. What, like this stuff like this is what blew my mind. It's like dubiously useful extra 5 speed in the late game where everything's insanely fast. Like, what are you talking about? Speed plus 5 is 2k passive, and you need like a ton of bond fragments to get it. You think speed plus 5 is dubiously useful? It's almost always useful. Immediate performance, I level Anna from 5 to 10 in Citrine's joining chapter, who's arguably at her worst. Anna can double more enemies reliably for free. This is true, she's faster. You even agree, she's plus 5 speed. You can see it right up here. Plus 5 speed. Dude, this is like, it's almost making me feel like I'm crazy, where it's like, wait, because like people are like disagreeing with me, they're getting upvotes, I'm getting downvoted, everyone's just disagreeing with me. But it's like, well, hold on, like the math is on my side. Like outside of her startup costs, long term she's a better unit. Oh, and then shit like this, objectively stronger. Oh, and then people pile in too. You're arguing with this person, then the second person jumps in at internal level 30. And then I posted this at 10/10, and then at level 1 Sage, and I show the stats. I show the math. At base Sage, Citrine has +3 magic, which diminishes over time and matters less than running A-ranked tomes for damage, which is true, because if you just hand like a unit on Sage Bolg early game, they'll kill things, or even Elfire in most cases, not even upgraded. So this idea that you need Citrine's early magic, outside of LTC, you just don't. Clan is fine, Saline is fine, hand them Celica, they'll be one-rounding armors, it's no big deal. Hand like Alir or Chloe, an armor slayer, they'll be one-rounding armors. But Alir and Chloe are the best early game units as far as I can tell, for just like beating the early game chapters or soloing them. Level 10, Citrine is +3 magic. At level 20, she's +2 magic. At level 30, she's +1 magic over Anna. And then this gets downvoted. Why? This is literally just a like factual information. And then I say Citrine struggles to double slow armored enemies in late game, and I actually like cite some speed. Yeah, it's right here. This just gets upvoted because this is a contrarian. This is like the common thing on Reddit. The contrarian just gets mindlessly upvoted regardless of argument. Is Anna doubling anything other than armored / slow enemies? Because super easy to get Citrine that she can double armors, lol. I love the confidence, but then when I actually cite the speed value, it's like, oh, wait a second. Oh, wait. Chapter 21 enemy armor with 15 speed. And that's how much speed they have. How do I know that? I Googled it. I looked it up. But that's a general that has 15 speed. Great Knights are faster. So Citrine, and I only know this because I ran into this. I ran Sage Citrine, and she ran into speed issues where she cannot double armors, and it pissed me off. I'm like, why is this Sage so slow that they can't double a freaking armor? A freaking armor, dude. All right, so level Citrine, level 20. So level 30 Citrine has 17 speed on fixed mode. Does not double it by default. This is true. She's +2 speed on it. Level 30 Anna, 22 speed, doubles them by default. Even with speed +5, if you run Bolg on both, you're looking at -5 4 to 5 speed, if you, assuming you have like a -1 weight engraving on it, because they're at 6 build. So even with speed +5 on Bolg, Cit is too slow to double generals on chapter 21 and onward, which is true. Downvoted. Why downvoted? We don't like facts. We don't like facts. Facts are bad. Downvote. So if I slap a speed tonic on Citrine, she's doubling by default. Oh, and then his math is wrong. So all right, so here's the math on this. 17 speed +5 speed. She's at 22, and then -5 speed from Bolganone. She's back down to 17, and then +2 speed from the tonic. She's at 19. She's 1 speed short. So and then it gets upvoted, even though it's actually wrong. And someone else points that out. Actually, you missed the math a bit. You actually need more than a tonic to double. And then he doesn't even know this, like what speed is to double and engage. The point still stands, however. Anna's speed lead isn't meaningful in practice. You're right. It just literally means the difference between doubling armors or not in chapter 21 and onward. In the endgame chapters where the game is its hardest. You're right. It doesn't matter at all. This is where shit's just getting crazy, where I'm like, what is happening? With the speed fixing available to Citrine and how tiered speed is in engage. Mage Knight is much better for combat, but some people like Sages for staff utility and Firebane. OP was comparing to Sages, so I stuck with it. Yeah, it's just an example though, because everyone's like, oh, she kills it on Sage, and it's like, all right, does she though? And then if you put her on Mage Knight, the same thing happens, but to a different set of enemies. If you have +5 speed on something, you double more types of enemies. So if you are both on Mage Knight, Anna just can double more things throughout most of the middle game and throughout most of the end game. So to act like +5 speed doesn't matter, you hand Anna +5 more speed from a passive, you know, speed +5, and now she doubles even more things. And it's like if you hand them both the same, you both hand them Violet for +3 speed, you both hand them speed +5, Anna's still +5 more speed, she's going to double more enemies. It's literally basic math. But then people are acting like there aren't enemies whose thresholds are being met by Anna having +5 speed. But it's insane because the entire premise of the game is that you want to speed fix to double if you're trying to double to 1 round for a doubling 1 round build that's not a crit build. So like to just act like +5 speed doesn't matter is like lunacy. It's like, of course it matters. It will always matter. in these types of builds. These units go for doubling and one rounding. It's always going to matter. You have to do less speed fixing. Like, why is Kagetsu better than Lapis? More strength needs less damage fixing. It's the same principle. Like, you can't argue that you can never argue statistics if you're just going to throw them out when it's convenient because the unit you like is statistically worse than another unit. I mean, you can make the argument that startup costs, fine. I'm not arguing against that. But if you're just going to throw Micaiah on Ana and you're just playing at average pace, you can easily get Ana online. All right, it's the only difference with like Ana. Ladder is barely relevant. Yeah, this is. I'll still downvote this because it's stupid. Saying that like 5+5 speed is not relevant, and then they're just going to make some like bad faith arguments about whatever the hell. Base speed is enough to double 75% enemies until chapter 18. That is not even needing to touch Lyn. Yeah, how about the promoted enemies that actually don't have trash speed? How about those enemies? That's probably what she's not doubling. And why there's a sudden change as you enter the endgame. Ana has 5 points of speed over Citrine only when they're Byleth rally apart from doubling the same enemies. Okay, what if I Byleth rally Ana? Now she can double more enemies. You see how this works? You see how you're propping her up with a second unit that's speed boosting her? It's just such bad faith. Take chapter 23. Ana, the same resources. Tonic. I don't give her a speed wing. What are you talking about? I've never given Ana a speed wing. Dude, look at what it takes to get Citrine online. Look at the high levels of... I've never used Leaf on Ana. I've never used Byleth Rally on Ana. I've never used a speed wing or a tonic on Ana. This is just pure copium. This is like this. You can completely remove a Byleth Rally and a speed wing and just run Byleth passive or Leaf and then a tonic. Like this is insane. How does anyone upvote this? It's like, oh yeah, the +5 speed doesn't matter. You have a Citrine bias. 1000%. Unless you're an LTC or you have a Citrine bias. Can you explain how Citrine... Oh yeah. This is my alt. I'm not trying to make alt. I was just on my other computer. So I'm not trying to act like I'm multiple people. This is just on my alt on another computer. By the way, this is pretty disingenuous when you're ignoring Ana's 5 extra levels. I'm getting them to the same level. What are you talking about? This also blew my mind. This is such a brain dead take. And second seal usage. That's right, the dirty second seal. And only compare them as level 20 sages. And then I called the stats, downvoted. I said this. I think I misunderstood what they were saying by him. Oh, wait, hold on. I think he said... I think I was misunderstanding what he's saying about the 5 levels. I just mentioned they were the same internal level. That got downvoted to hell for some reason. I don't know. People react emotionally on Reddit. Ana has +1 HP, +2 strength, -4 magic at level 8 Sage, something that's not possible because you cannot Master Seal into Sage at level 8. So it's hilarious how he's like, this is disingenuous, and he makes a dumb argument that doesn't even make sense. Okay. The far less flattering comparisons is Ana's 4 levels behind on yeah, because they're different levels, you idiot. I literally level Ana from 5 to 10 on Citrine's join chapter to make it a non... Ultimately, they're roughly as good as each other for the Magic Go Burr. They're not. Ana has more accuracy and more speed. They're not roughly the same. Ana is statistically better. It's not my opinion. I don't have an Ana bias. I don't hate Citrine. There's math involved. We have numbers out. Okay. It's better long-term units versus low unit effort. Comes down to how much effort you find getting Ana to 10, how much opportunity you consider that to be. Ana Citrine is a false dichotomy because realistically you would still want a Citrine when you use Ana. Citrine's greatest asset is she doesn't need an early Master Seal. I don't agree with that. Why would you use her if you could just use Ivy or Pandreo with Ana? I'd rather have Ivy and Pandreo than Citrine. Ivy's a better staff bot Thoron nuke. She's better bulk. She can double more enemies. She's a little bit... she's similar speed, but she's higher build. So she can just double better. I'm probably going to run Mage Knight Citrine and Ana in the same run. Why? Why would you run it Mage Knight Citrine? She's very slow. Mage Knight Citrine is worse than Mage Knight Fram, Chloe, possibly Marin, definitely Pandreo, definitely worse than Anna, who's faster, definitely worse than Ivy, who's faster on Mage Knight. Most people don't run Ivy Mage Knight, but she is faster. She's slightly less magic, but she's much faster and is way higher build. This person, oh. Oh, and then this. Also surprised we're using Smooth Brain. So the immediate trash talking. Smooth Brained stat sheet theory craft 1 year after release instead of actual in-game experience. I have 1,500 hours of maddening experience across multiple different runs, most of it not DLC. So that's what I'm mostly referring to. I'm just using the stat sheet to demonstrate that people's perception of Citrine as this high damage magic unit is not in line with reality, and that most other mages are at the very worst slightly behind her in terms of damage, but way ahead of her in terms of speed. And that's pretty much every magical unit is usually faster than her, usually has more build, usually has more bulk, usually has better passive. Anna is really like the only example of one who has startup costs, but all the other ones just smoke her in terms of stats and output. So this idea that she's ready at base to get some work done. Dude, what is this? Is this like the boys thing, girls get it done shit? Where they're like, girls get it done. She's ready at base. Dude, she sucks at base. She doubles nothing. She wants a master seal. She's worse than Chloe and Alir at base. Shortly after, Pandreo and Ivy are just objectively better than her in every way aside from magic stat. 22 speed at internal level 20 is mid at best. This is like what Ivy's speed is at, and she's considered one of the best units, which I brought up, and then they just ignored it and just like danced around that. 22 sage or 22 speed sage is mid. We better stop using Ivy. Oh yes, Ivy is unit for being like this. This snark is just so like, it just reeks of like teenager or someone who hasn't like matured, who's just like annoying. I'm just like pointing out that everyone on this subreddit is obsessed with Ivy. So I'm like, so 22 speed on a Sage is bad, huh? Well, that's basically what Ivy is. If you like spreadsheets, warrior, but and then he just like mentions some bullshit that doesn't matter. Sage is not a fast class. Citrine on Sage is exceptionally slow. People hype up Citrine for having exceptionally high magic. When at the same level, she has slightly higher magic than Anna, which diminishes over time. +5 magic on Ivy, who brings more to the table. What else? Yeah, I'm just like going over, and then I said unironically using Smooth Brain is always funny, especially in expose your own ignorance of the game with pride. I'm like trash talking about. Oh yeah, and then this guy is a dick for sure. For our next trick, actually similar logic to demonstrate Nino is in fact mathematically superior to Pent, and then the whole class laughed. But this is the textbook definition of false equivalence. Pent is like a promoted unit who's one rounding things. Nino has like poor availability and needs like fed entire maps. It's just not the same. These are two early game units that you get like back to back very early on and can both easily be leveled to be useful. And they're trying to basically say that Pent is Citrine, which is very funny because if anything, Pandreo is Pent. So they're just way off on that. Okay, this post shows stats at this, or that, I'm sorry, this post shows that what stats both units have at the same level in the same class. One is better than the other. Here's Anna going from 5 to 10 on Citrine's join map. Like, how do you refute this? Just downvotes in anger? Compare Nino and Pent when both are at max. Yeah, and then just continues to mock me, being a dick. And then I point out that it's a false equivalence argument, and I basically just explain what I just said. I also ignore that you can level 6 to 8 units level 10 before chapter 9 easily, which I just did in a recent run. It's not that hard to do. And then so first he mocks me like a dick, then he mocks me like a dick. And then he mocks me like a dick even more by copying how I'm making an argument by saying also, like he's the cool funny guy in class. But in reality, he's not the cool funny guy in class because he's like a parrot. He's probably seen someone even make a similar post to this. He's probably seen this. Nino is mathematically, he's probably seen, this is probably like a meme. And then he just added a little bit of flavor to it, to this meme. And then people are like, oh, haha, that meme, I get it. We like Citrine, Anna bad. So then they like it. And then this, he just doubles down on the meme. Fewer people thought it was funny the second time. But whatever, not really making arguments, not even actually like engaging me in discussion, just like kind of being a dick, kind of mocking me. Also ignore it's much more effort to get Anna's kills. Yeah, it's really not. All you have to do is hand her an engraved axe. Do people act like shit so hard? Like, the thing is, when you have this many hours in this game, you pretty much immediately understand, like, your brain just like spits out solutions to things. So if someone says, oh, here's some problem with this unit, it's like, oh, just do this and this and it's fine. So it's like, okay, so how do you fix this? Well, you just hit engrave an axe. You can hit engrave Noatin with like Marth engraving, Leaf engraving, whatever, get it to like +2 to +3 for almost nothing. Hand that to Kagetsu later on when you get him, if you want to have him on Axe Wyvern or whatever the hell you want to do, or Banat or whoever wants it. And she can just kill, she can kill things like that. She actually can. She can literally get kills like that, and it's not that hard to set up, honestly. Early game chapters are pretty brain dead. That's probably the hardest way to get her online. The easiest way is just slap Micaiah on her. No one else really wants it. I haven't really heard a compelling argument for who wants Micaiah early, because truthfully, like, no good units, like the good combat units kill things. They don't want a staff bot. So there really isn't a solid argument like, oh yeah, throw it on Louis because he's armor and he does the, like, that's the only thing that would kind of make sense. But then you're mainlining Louis, and what's he going to be, like a great weapon user or something? Like, fine, I guess. But he could probably power level in other chapters. Like, I mean, no one is unviable, but the startup costs of Anna, I don't really think are that high. Doesn't need to be fed kills. If you just have her as passive Micaiah bots, it's still XP. So this is like the mecha argument from his. This is like literally parroting that argument of, oh well, if you give this unit a Speedwing, you have to give every unit a Speedwing. But it doesn't really hold true in Engage, because what is the best units in the game? Like, what the best units in the game want to be doing is not just like consuming some Speedwing. You have like emblems now, so like, you give a unit, there's no like Schrodinger's emblem. Like, it's not like, is there an emblem in the box? I don't know. Does this unit get Micaiah? I don't know. If you're running Anna, you probably should use Micaiah for at least 1 to 2 chapters to get her to level 10 quickly. Now, should other units be using that? Doesn't matter. They can. There is no like should or should not here. Like, they can use it. But this idea that because she could make use of this resource just to get her to level 10 quickly, and then she becomes good, like, discredits her. You can't use that resource. And then in their mind, it discredits her. And then I like this. I'm no LTC player, but I've tried giving Anna Micaiah and playing at a fairly normal pace. It's not enough for her to catch up. See, the thing is, he probably doesn't understand that, one, you don't just use Great Sack. There's some nuance to Great Sack. This is why game knowledge matters. Great Sack XP scales based on amount of things affected. So if half your team is missing health and you Great Sack, you usually get a level up immediately. If all of your team is missing health and you Great Sack, you usually get I don't think you can get a level up and change, but I think you can just get full level ups. I haven't checked, but you can easily get full level ups in single Great Sacks. So assuming you Great Sack twice a map, which is Great Sacking after your opening turn, after some units take damage from your opening turn, your thing dying down, emblem energy, Great Sacking, you could reasonably Great Sack in like 5 to 6 turns each map on chapter 7 and 8. And if you do it right, that's 4 levels. However, in between that, you can heal in a plus shape at range. And you can use this staff called Mend that gives you more XP. So this is just like exposing lack of game knowledge from this player. Now, do they need to know all these things? No, but I have made guides specifically on these things, and to ignore the information in those guides because it's convenient and you don't know it is stupid. She needs explicit feeding. So being a staff bot is not explicit feeding. You can literally play normally with Anna and easily level her up in 2 to 3 chapters without going out of your way to set up heals and stuff. Now, do you level her up faster if you put your units that are damaged in a plus shape while you're advancing and then heal them? Yes, but you can do that while advancing and not slow you down. You're not going to be LTCing doing this, but you can play pretty quickly doing it, and it doesn't really slow down the pace of your play. And at the end of it, you get a unit that's better than Citrine if you want it. That's pretty funny. Okay, Warriors Magic was preference. Okay. What do you want about investments? And then 1 chapter, downvote, whatever. And then I downvoted him in response. Downvote you too. I'll let him do that. It's kind of bitch ass, honestly. Citrine's niche is literally Dire Thunder. She's still better because she has superior magic. Not to mention this would be using Anna in first place, who requires significantly more investment. So just use a literal exploit in the game to produce the Dire Thunder or Great Thunder Ring. So exploiting the game, fine. Using in-game mechanics to level up, normally bad. Got it. Citrine's niche is promoting her to Mage Knight, giving her the standard +3 speed and speed tonic treatment, and watching her double the same... Wait, what? Oh, any non-Kagetsu Pandreo tier unit does? This is a little delusional. I noticed the speed tonic. I almost never use tonics, and I've never needed them with my teams. So the fact that they like jumped, oh, just give her speed +3, put her on Mage Knight, give her tonic. She'll double the same amount of enemies as all these units. She won't. Because if you do the same thing to like a Chloe Mage Knight, a Fram Mage Knight, a Clan Mage Knight, an Ana Mage Knight, they're way faster than Citrine. It's not even close. Especially like Chloe, she's insanely fast. She'll be like +7 or 8 speed on Citrine, probably even more. And also I think she's higher build too, so it's like this Pandreo Kagetsu tier. Also Ivy has high build as well. You think they would know that, having Ivy in their PFP? Let's see. Clearly I've been away from the meta. Vantage nuke. Okay. Oh yeah, then this Ana body Citrine, that just gets downvoted because they have anti-Ana bias. And then I posted this. Don't say anything, and then that's it. That's it for this. All right. So what did we learn? Well, one, I created a dumpster fire, so that's my fault. That's what I learned. Most people that liked it probably didn't join the comments, and the people who didn't like it definitely joined the comments, and those people probably got triggered by this because they like Citrine and probably hate Ana, and I already know that this Reddit hates Ana, and they typically rate her as the worst unit in the game for efficiency purposes, even if they're not efficiency players, because for whatever reason, all of the Fire Emblem discourse revolves around LTC and efficiency, even though most of the people who engage in such discourse are definitely not LTCers, because I actually know a lot of LTCers, and they probably don't even play fast. Now, some of the people who actually do argue with me, even on my own Discord, are LTCers, and they have good points about things, but we usually just disagree because we play the game in different ways, where they have to play it with this limitation and I don't, so I can play slower than them and get away with more nonsense than they can do. And that's usually how things like this come into existence. But nothing that was said here has changed my mind. Like, people saying speed +5 doesn't matter is such a weird take, and even like the lengths that they go to justify how it's good. Like, what was the one thing? It was like Byleth Dance, Tonic. Like, how many freaking things does she need to double? Oh my god. Like, who plays around Byleth Dance that isn't an LTCer? Like, if you're an LTCer, I have no ill will towards LTC. I don't hate LTCers. There's nothing wrong with I love challenge runs, so I get it. It's fine. But they were really going out of their way, where was it, to justify how good Citrine is. But you have to, like, oh, is this it? Citrine needs tonics. Anakin Devil's Armor is a base. That wasn't it. Was this it? It was like the speed plus, the Byleth Rally. A Byleth Rally apart. Yeah, just have a separate unit waste its turn to speed boost this unit so that they can double the same enemies. Or what if I just don't do that? What if I don't do that? And also I wonder if they've seen the video of Fram and Ana on a maddening run, just like speed clearing chapter 21 enemies, not like taking no damage, one rounding literally everything. Mage Knight, Ana, and Fram, like Bonded Shield. I wonder if they've seen that clip, because like Saline couldn't do that. Or, I'm sorry, Saline. Citrine couldn't do that. She would need... Oh, wait, here it is. Here's what it takes to get Citrine doubling. You gave them the same resources, speed +5, tonic. Like, who uses a speed wing? Like, you could, but why? I haven't used a speed wing on my Ana before. So it's funny that they're like assuming that I'm giving them +4 speed from this source, and then I'm using Leaf on chapter 23 on Ana. Why? For the build? I'd rather have Sigurd, because then you get Canter and momentum damage in the same build. You also get Dex, which could be useful for hitting fast enemies. And you can override with Levin Sword. So that's a thing too. But yeah, like why leave? Like you can't even quad strike really. So like it's literally just used to build. Like look at the lengths you have to go to just to get Citrine online. Like I'm assuming you're running speed 5 on them. That's fine. But Tonic and Speedwing I almost never use. I would never run Leaf on Anna. I would run either Byleth. Some cases, not Lucina. Like Byleth, maybe. Actually, no. I usually don't even run speed. Sometimes it depends on the build. I'll say this: it depends on the build. If she's gonna be the bonded target, I might run Lyn just so she can double everything, including like Griffins and shit, so that she can double the entire game. If I'm running her as like a Sage, I'll run speed +5. I don't use Tonics or Speed Wings. I'll run her on Byleth, and she'll like Siege, Sage, and then Dance or whatever. And that's just like a fun build. It's not like as practical as like a Byleth unit. But I usually don't even use my Byleths to rally. Sometimes I do. I usually just build fast enough units that double most things. And it's easier to get Anna doubling than it is to get Citrine doubling. And this is just really telling of how some people play the game, where they set up all of this stuff just to get like a slow unit doubling just to justify. Because like Byleth rally on Covert is +5 speed. So if you just remove that, like you just don't need a Byleth rally then at all times. But then they're gonna tell me that's not better. It's like, are you kidding me? Like let's assume we are playing this way. So Anna just doesn't need this ever for the same doubling like breakpoints. How is that not better? Like I don't understand. And then like just to discredit it like that, I don't know. It's crazy to me how you can just say +5 speed doesn't matter in a game where speed is like if speed was so easy to get, if speed was truly so easy to get, why would you need to do all this shit to get speed? It's like, dude, come on. All right, don't be mean to any of these people. Don't be rude to them. Don't seek them out. Don't harass them. I'm not trying to like call out individual users who are responding to me, because I started this dumpster fire. I am responsible. I am just also adding, in a way, more fuel to the fire. But really, I just want to talk about Amber Lance, which is the key takeaway here, and also that Citrine's niche has in fact been demolished in the blink of an eye, because Anna just has one less magic than her on Sage, but also more speed and dex. So that's it for this one. Thanks for checking this out. Peace.